Let's make a piece of gorgeous modern abstract art using scrap fabric and just a few art supplies. The result looks so expensive. Here's the supplies you'll need for this project. You can pause to read and find links in the description. I'm using a panoramic canvas. This is one I thrifted from a charity shop for about a fiver. It's 100 centimetres by 35 centimetres. I've done a couple of layers of gesso to prepare the surface, and now I'm doing some free writing to make an interesting background. For this, I'm using Pebio's Miction Relief, which is usually for adding gold leaf details, but it works for this purpose too. You could use acrylic paint or PVA glue, it just needs a fine nozzle applicator. I'm just writing nonsense here, but it would be lovely to do quotes or lyrics that are meaningful to you to make it really personal and special. I've mixed up about a 50-50 mix of PVA glue and light texture paste, and I'm mapping out the composition roughly. And while I'm doing that, let's talk about fabric. Don't think it really matters what type of fabric you use. I've done this with cotton, hessian, old t-shirts and jeans. It's really just down to the texture you want. I'm using scrim here, which was commonly used for window cleaning, believe it or not. I like scrim because it's very light and has a big open weave, almost like netting, which provides loads of texture. I'm twisting the fabric and I'm going to spend time laying it down, spreading it out and soaking it with the glue mixture, moving and manipulating the shapes until I'm kind of happy with the flow and the composition. There's no rush in this part of the process at all, as the glue will be wet for ages. Just keep playing until you feel kind of satisfied, I guess, just until it feels right to look at. To add a final bit of texture and interest, I'm splattering the last of the glue mixture on, spraying little blobs all over the canvas. This should give it loads of energy. Then I leave it for a day or two to thoroughly dry. Today I'm using my absolute favourite acrylic inks by a company called Camonskea. They have such luscious colours and they just flow beautifully. I'm using Sea Wave and Emerald today for a luxurious deep greeny blue look. There's no precise technique to this, I'm simply squirting the paint on and mixing it directly on the canvas as I go. Ink falls into the crevices and highlights the raised writing on the background, making the texture pop. As I finish brushing each section, I'm spraying the surface lightly with water, which makes the paint sort of bead and pool and creates even more texture and pattern. Once it's all covered, I check the fabric element from all sides, as there's always little crevices that get missed. Being acrylic, the paint dries really quickly. This was ready for the final stage within an hour. I'm loving the mottled effect. To make this piece look really high-end, I'm going to add metallic highlights. I thought bright gold would be a bit too garish, so I've mixed my Jacquard Pearlex pigments in brilliant gold and silver with some PVA glue to make a beautiful pale gold metallic paint. Then I use a simple kitchen sponge to lightly brush the gold over the texture, which suddenly brings the art to life. This dries pretty quickly, so I try to start subtly and build the effect up rather than doing too much and going overboard with the gold. Finally, I'm using a pipette to add some splashes. And now all it needs is the sides painting the same dark greeny blue colour, and our artwork is ready to hang. The thing that took me by surprise with this piece was how different it looked from different angles when the light hits it. From the right, it's more green and the gold glows really warmly, and from the left, it's much more cool and blue, which is really interesting. And here it is, hanging pride of place. There are endless compositions, colour palettes and designs you could make with these techniques. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial and it's given you loads of inspiration for your own abstract artwork. Until next time, happy creating.